Good afternoon. My name is Olivia Adele Walker, and I'm a junior psychology pre-med major from the sunny city of Jacksonville, Florida. My group was interested in the migrational patterns of Acciptridae in Waynesboro, Virginia. We were especially interested in how the time of season can correlate with the migrational behaviors of these birds of prey. For our research question, we wondered which half of the season would show the greatest abundance of hawk migration, the early fall months, which we define as mid-August through September, or the late fall months, which we define as October through November. This specific experiment can assist in conservation efforts because knowing which half of the fall season has greater abundance will allow for greater efficiency when deploying manpower and resources. This study is also significant in relation to ecology because the relationship between hawks, their prey, and their predators is greatly impacted by migratory patterns. When hawks migrate from a particular environment, it causes shifts in food supply and species abundance, as well as the same effects in the environment that these hawks migrate to. After our initial research, we developed a hypothesis. This hypothesis states that if it is early fall, a greater volume of Acciptridae migration can be observed due to the hurricane season. Our null hypothesis stated that if it is the early fall, there would be no statistically significant difference in Acciptridae migration compared to that of late fall. For our methods, we observed the data collected by observers in our research site, Rockfish Gap, Waynesboro, Virginia. These observers took note of the species that they observed, as well as the number of observations made for each species daily. They also made note of weather, such as rain and temperature. What we did as a group was analyze the data that they collected. The two most significant data categories that we were able to analyze is species richness as well as abundance.
Okay. My name is Dylan Hayes. I'm a freshman biochemistry major from Detroit, Michigan, and I'll be presenting our results. So based on the recorded data and diversity metrics, we were able to create 4 relevant graphs. Now, in 2.1 and 2.2, you may notice the gaps. Those are days of no count or no occurrence for any of the specific species that have them. But even with those, you're still able to recognize the multiple points of significant rise, especially the one in the mid-September. Analyzing 2.1 compared to 2.2, which is early fall juxtaposed to late fall, you see that the rises are similar until you look at the y-axis and notice that the rise for the mid-September broad-winged hawk is in the 9,000s, while the one for the sharp-shinned and red-tailed hawks in October and November never get over 350. This shows that the early fall period, according to this, is the period of greatest abundance. And it's even more clear in figures 3 and 4 as you see the dramatic rises in September in both the line and bar graph. However, when you analyze figure 5, you notice that the correlation analysis show between temperature and bird of prey abundance is essentially statistically insignificant because the p-value is so much higher than 0.05. This leads us to believe that this experiment trends towards the null hypothesis rather than the actual hypothesis itself.
Hello, my name is Destiny Jones. I am a freshman majoring in biology pre-med, and I'm from Hampton, Virginia. After collecting this data, it can be interpreted that species migrated most during the early fall. However, the correlation graph shows there is no statistical significance between temperature and raptor abundance. As a result, we considered the high prevalence of the broad-winged, sharp-shinned, and red-tailed hawk. These values were greatly impacted by the high prevalence of the broad-winged hawk. This consideration impacted the validity of the study, making it inconclusive. The greater abundance was indeed early fall as hypothesized. We believe this is due to the migratory patterns of the Acciptridae rather than the family as a whole. Also, we didn't see the hurricane season affect the area in the manner we thought it would. This invalidates the current data's potential for confirming the hypothesis, but doesn't outright disprove it. As of right now, the study is inconclusive in providing correlation between one half of the fall season having higher occurrence than the other. Further study will be required. Investigation of a new area, a more focused study, and altered hypothesis are all potential fixes. This area has great potential for an individual analysis of the broad-winged hawk species, but there is also a high prevalence of red-tailed and sharp-shinned hawks that could be analyzed.
All right. We would like to thank you for viewing our poster today, and we hope you were able to learn something about the Acciptrids.